All right, so in this video, we will be doing a comparison and discussion on the three Armada Starscream we've gotten from mainline toy lines of Transformers from Hasbro and Takara or Takara Tomy now. Okay, so we have three of them here. The one in the middle is the very first Armada Starscream figure that we got. This is a Hasbro version of the Armada Starscream, which was released way back in, if I'm not mistaken, 2000 to 2002. And it's huge because the size of this figure was they didn't have Voyagers back then or leader classes, or they had MaxCon. So this size of figure was called a MaxCon about 20 years ago. Okay, and then the next one that was released by Hasbro in the Generations line was the Thrilling 30, or IDW, or 30th Anniversary Transformers Deluxe Class Generations Armada Starscream. I did a review of this one, if I remember correctly. I think it was way back in 2014. If you've been with me for as long as I was doing these videos, I think it was October 2014. If you search my videos on YouTube, I did review this guy. Now, I've already sold him off, so the only reason I have him now is thanks to my good buddy John for loaning me his copy. And I'm kind of regretting selling my figure now because this figure is just, the prices have just skyrocketed recently, and I don't know why. It's just selling for bonkers right now. It's like, what, 50 bucks, 40 bucks selling now online. And it's just crazy ridiculous. And finally, this third figure is one I've reviewed recently. You all know this figure. This is the Transformers Legacy Voyager class Armada Starscream. And well, you all know how I feel about this figure, mainly because of quality. But let's try and talk about them and discuss the pros and cons of each figure. So let's begin with the original Armada Starscream. So you see he's a very, very bulky paperweight type of figure. They have limited articulation, but plastic quality on this guy is just absolutely spot on. It's, you know what, these were the good old days when plastic was just so premium, so quality. I mean, very, very hard, very solid plastic. And his weapon is right here. You detach one of the wings, the left wing. Oh no, not this part. It's this part, my bad. So just this part. And then you extend it, and this becomes his sword, which was actually a pretty neat gimmick. Not a big fan of it though. I prefer just the regular sword, but they incorporated that so that one of the wings becomes a weapon. So that's pretty cool. But his main gimmick is his lights and sound effects, and the weapons are activated by a minicon. So he's got some light and sound effects right here if you press on the chest or the cockpit. But the main gimmick is really right here. You insert this minicon right here and press on it. Let me see, just get my finger out of the way. And out pops the shoulder-mounted missile launchers. And it should make a sound. Yeah. That's cool. And then you launch the missiles with pressing these buttons. Again, you know, back in the day, weapons actually, you could shoot the weapons out. So yeah, that was pretty cool. I mean, for a very solid figure, a very blocky figure, I thought the gimmicks were pretty okay. Okay, on to the Generations Starscream, Armada Starscream. Now, he didn't have the lights and sounds, but he did have his swords right here. Now, if you remember in my old review, my sword broke. Starscream's sword broke. The one I reviewed, because the joints were very, very brittle. So I'm going to be very careful with these because this is my friend's copy and I don't want to be breaking something that's not mine. So, okay. So you fold them out. They're nicely hidden in the wings. So it's like an homage to that. But I do love the fact that you didn't have to remove the wings. I love that they're Energon swords that you could just tuck in right there. So that's pretty cool. Now, incidentally, these shoulder cannons, you could fold them backwards, which is something that the old toy could not do. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I thought that was a nice little improvement. And then it did shoot some weapons. It didn't have to flip out like this one, but you could just push right here and it would shoot a rocket. Man, did I just lose that? No, it's somewhere there. And you know what? Those friction type of rocket firing gimmicks, I thought that was pretty cool. They had this for the Clone Wars figures back then, but 10 years ago. I thought it was pretty nice. I'm glad that they still found a way to incorporate the shoulder cannons, and they found a way to just hide those cannons, just fold them up this way. I thought it was a very good engineering improvement on the figure. I do love the swords, that they don't have to form into wings. So this figure is actually looking pretty good. And then finally, we have the legacy version of the figure. And he still has the same the gimmick. They tried to do it. They tried to incorporate it right here. Unfortunately, there are no missiles that shoot off. It's mostly, I guess, decorative or just an homage to the old toy. You can put the weapons and pretend that, you know, they're shooting. They're like the I mean, it's just really ridiculous. Okay. But I do like the fact that you have the opportunity to do that, the ability to do that. And at the same time, you can actually fold these. Let me see if I can do it. You can fold these shoulder cannons backward as well. So it's an homage to this old figure. And at the same time, the engineering has been copied from the Generations figure. That's pretty cool, actually. Now, the weapons, his sword, it mimics this wing sword, but there's really no way you can store it on the wing, but it doesn't really hide it. So, and it's unpainted. So I mean, I thought this was pretty useless. I mean, they could have just given us something like this, Energon swords that would have hidden, or I don't know. And then the Star Saber. Man, this is like the cheapest looking Star Saber. I mean, ghetto style Star Saber. And I don't know why they couldn't have made a Battlemaster version of this one. But yeah, at least he's got the Star Saber. Sort of. Okay, and as far as aesthetics go, he actually looks more like the original. In terms of form and design, you get the shoulders, the fuselage, the main cockpit of the plane right in front. Even proportion-wise, I think this one's closer to the original than this one. This one's really, really stylized. It feels like it's more of a comic book figure than a cartoon figure. Well, these two kind of feel like they're a cartoon figure. And in terms of colors, I think this one is a lot closer to the original. In terms of articulation, I think this one has the most. Despite being very flimsy, I think this one has just a little bit more articulation than this one. Although they're very, very similar. And I think when it comes to the robot mode, most of the gaps are filled out with this figure than this figure. So in terms of articulation and posing the figure, I think this one is just slightly better than this one. But in terms of solidness and quality, I do believe that this one edges this one. Definitely. This one just feels so cheap. This one still feels premium. It's not as solid as the original. Original is just really solid, like leader class solid. This one is just a very solid deluxe class figure with some amazing, amazing plastic quality that they put on it. Even the paint apps. I think the paint apps came out nicely on this one, albeit the colors are better with this one. So let's get these guys in their jet mode and compare them and see who fares the best in alt mode. And here are all three of them in their jet mode. Man, the original toy was just really, really something. I mean, look how massive and imposing this alt mode is. It just swoops in. It's just really, really an amazing, amazing alt mode. I mean, back in the day, I mean, it sure looked funny, you know, with the arm sticking out and all that. But now, looking back, I thought this was one of the best lines out there. I didn't give the Armada line a lot of credit back in the day, you know, and I'm kind of regretting it. Kind of skipped a lot of the figures, but really happy to have these things again. Comparing these figures to today's standards, man, the old figures were just really, really amazing figures. Now, let me just jump quickly to the latest one. This is the legacy version. You can see how closely they tried to replicate it and quite possibly improved a little bit of the engineering and kind of streamlined the jet. It really is a good homage to this old figure. Even the colors match, the design, the aesthetic, the cockpit. It's really just missing a minicon and some lights and sounds. Now this one, on the other hand, the third figure, is just completely a brand new, it's like a reimagining of the Armada Starscream. It's completely stylized. Even the way the cannons look, it feels like it's something from Robotech or Macross. It's just such a different animal compared to these two. And yet I find myself, you know, really attracted to this figure because it's just a well designed figure. Despite not being as accurate as this one, it really is such a cool figure. So if you ask me, out of all these three jet modes, obviously this one's still the best, the original, but between these two, this one, I'm going to give the better jet mode to this one. This one is just so Armada looking. And this one, divergent design. It's sort of like inspired by Armada, but then it's all in a different universe altogether. And so some final thoughts on these three Armada Starscream figures. Each one has their own pros and cons, their good side and some shortcomings. The original one, I think I'm going to have to vote, is still the best one. I think in terms of quality, in terms of look and feel, playability, the sound effects, the electronics, the gimmicks, transformation was, I mean, overall, the overall package, I think I'm going to give it to the original. In terms of just how it looks as a display piece, you're talking about accuracy to the toy, maybe to the cartoon. I'm gonna hate myself for saying this, but I think the legacy version does it the best. If you just want an Armada Starscream on your shelf to look like how he kind of did in the cartoon, maybe the comic books, the legacy figure, I think, does it best. Man, I can't believe I'm saying this, but anyway. But if you want just a really nice figure to have, just to bring along with you and just play with, and you can just fiddle around with, and you know, bring with you anywhere, display on the shelf, whatever, transform and all that, I think the Generations version is still one of the best figures out there. I mean, it's just a lot of fun. It's small enough. It's, you know, it's not as big and chunky as this one. It's not as delicate and craptastic quality of plastic as that one. It's really a solid, pocket-sized, small, solid figure to have around. So I'm gonna give it to that. There's really no one way to put this. There's no cut and dry way of saying this, which one's the best. Because if you ask me, I'm still gonna go for the original. The original, if you still have it, go keep it. These things are just made to last. I really enjoy this. It really is still one of the best figures, Transformers, that was ever released by Hasbro. If you can't get this one because it's just so old, I think the legacy version is a good substitute. I mean, you can just have something on the shelf. Just don't play too much with it because it'll probably break as easily as some of the other cheap toys that you may have lying around. But yeah, I think it'll do the job because this one is just commanding so much of a high price right now because in quality, these two are just top notch. This one just has just craptastic quality to it. So I can understand why people are really pricing this one, selling this one for a good price, for a very high price, and a lot of collectors are selling it. So if you have the means to get this one over this one, sure, why not? Get this one. But if it's just way beyond your budget, I mean, this one will suffice. I hope this discussion has helped a lot of you decide on which Armada Starscream to pick up. Do let me know in the comment section what you guys think and which do you feel is the best version of the Hasbro Armada Starscream figures that we've gotten through the years. And with that, I'd like to once again thank my good buddy John for loaning me his Thrilling 30 Armada Starscream. And I'd like to make a shout out to someone who's been very loyal and just really watches all my Transformers videos. He's from Melbourne, Australia, and his name is Ashton, and his dad, Wayne. Thank you guys for just continuing to put up with my content and just supporting the channel. I really appreciate it, guys, from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much. So, buddy, Ashton, keep it up. Try checking out my Marvel and Star Wars video reviews as well if you got some time. All right, with that, let me know in the comments what you guys think. And as always, hit that notification bell so you never miss out on any of my latest video reviews. And if it's your first time here, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.